Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. There we go. Folks, I got you can see the lights doing weird things, right? It's because I got the front garage door open. But hey, it is afternoon. So we'll call this the Mañana no Mas daily check in. And I'm your host, Kurt Von Annen, your host of everything online that's Mañana no Mas. And what, what a difference a day can make. And so I put out the value added email today, and I sent that out, probably 3-4 hours ago by now. So if you're wondering what that is, every week, beginning of the week, usually Monday, sometimes Tuesday, I send out a value added email. That's what I call it. And generally, there's going to be a link to a recent article or to a recent podcast, or sometimes I put in like a free ebook or something that I think is going to add value to the people that listen to Mañana no Mas. And so as somebody that is a purveyor of things for leadership, fitness, goal setting, those types of things, it's not uncommon for me to give you guys an asset that might help in that area. And sometimes those assets, maybe they're not meant for you. Maybe they're meant for you to download and put into an email to your employees. Maybe it's meant to, share an article with a spouse or with one of your kids or something like that. And so I look really forward to putting those messages together for you guys. And I got one out today that I thought was pretty good. And it focused on, it links back to a blog post that I put in over the weekend. And it was about the bicycle ride I did on Saturday. So, I put these out almost every weekday. I get on here with you guys and do this YouTube live. I put the replays up on LinkedIn because I can't go live on LinkedIn yet. And it's like, what does bicycling have to do with business? It's the middle of the business day. Why is he talking about bicycling? And it's the message of that whole blog post was, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to do it. My back had been sore for over a week. I hadn't bicycled in almost 2 weeks. Those of you that follow, that I'm really into bicycling. It helps justify the things that I eat. Like, for instance, my wife made me homemade pizza. And so, I like to eat, right? So pizza, red meat, red wine, beer, these are the types of things that I enjoy. And unfortunately, if I'm going to enjoy those, I've got to have some type of activity that can account for that level of energy coming in, right? And so I love to bicycle. And when my back hurt a couple of weeks ago, I couldn't see myself bicycle. It just hurt. But I had been pre-signed up for Bike the Coast. Bike the Coast is a ride. They used to do it every year. They didn't do it last year because of COVID, right? So this is the first organized bike ride that I'm going to be able to jump into in about 2 years. And, I love it. I know some people are apprehensive about mask, no mask, vaccine, no vaccine. I don't care, right? I just want to go out and enjoy something. And so I'd pre-signed up for this thing a couple months ago, and I got the reminder email last week, and it was like, hey, don't forget, Saturday's the day we're going to go and bike the coast, whether you signed up for, I think it's 28 miles, 50 miles, or 100 miles. We're going to leave Saturday, and these are the directions, right? So if you're a participant, these are the directions. And I was like, man, I don't even want to do it. I don't even know if I can do it. My back is killing me. And I shouldn't say you, me, I can do this. I can talk myself into thinking that I can't do something. I can talk myself into thinking this isn't going to work. That self-defeating speak. And then as it got closer and closer, I said to my wife, I don't even know if I'm going to go. I don't even know if I'm going to do this. I don't even know that I can do it. It's 50 miles. I didn't sign up for the 100-mile this year. I just signed up for the 50 miles. And so I'm like, it's 50 miles. I haven't ridden in 2 weeks. My back is really sore. I don't even know if I can finish. And then I started saying things like, well, I did already pay for it. I already put the money down. I know people are going to be down there that I haven't seen in a while. Maybe I should go and see how I feel once I'm down there. Maybe I should drive down there. It's about an hour and a half away from the house. Maybe I should drive down there and, and sign up, register, get my t-shirt and all that stuff. And then, if I don't feel like I can do it, I can go back to the truck, or I can start the ride And if it's just too painful, I can just turn around and go back. But here's what happens. Mentally, things change. I got in the truck, and as I started driving down the highway, I started thinking about seeing everybody again. I started thinking about, I'm going to be in this event. This is actually kind of cool. I took some ibuprofen to help with the pain in the back, anti-inflammatory, keep things down. And then I said, you know what? The bike is prepped. I got plenty of water on the bike. I got the right gear. I'm going to see people. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'll register. I'll go through the registration, get my shirt, all my stuff, and then I'll give it a shot. I'll see how I do after the first 10 miles. I'll see how I feel after the first 15 miles or so. Right. So mentally, I got excited about it. And then as I got on the bike and actually went, you get in a line full of people and they're like, all right, count down 10, 9, 8, beep, everyone takes off, and you're running, and it wasn't a race. It's a fun ride. And so we're doing 10, 11, 12 miles an hour. And I thought, well, this is a pretty slow warm up. And then I tried to ride with the pack, but I saw a hill coming and it was kind of cold out. I was in short sleeves and it was real early and it was kind of a chill. And so I said, you know what, there's a hill. I can get my body temperature up if I go up the hill pretty good. So I passed everybody in this group, not everybody, but I passed everybody in this group, and I went up the hill, get my core temperature up a little bit. And I felt a little better because I was warming up. And I said, all right, cool. Well, there's another group up there. So I pedaled up to the next group and I rode behind them for half a mile or so. I don't know. And then I passed them. And then I said, okay, well, let's go find another group. And so there's all these pockets of people, and I was able to catch a group, ride with the group a little bit to recover, pass that group, go find the next group. Boom, boom, boom. I started feeling pretty good. And by the time the first rest stop's at like 16 miles. So by like 12 or 13 miles, I start thinking to myself, hey, my friends are in this ride and they left before I did. Maybe they're still at the rest stop. Maybe I can catch up to them at the rest stop. And I started thinking that. So I started pedaling just a little bit faster because I thought if I could catch them at the rest stop, it'll be cool because then I'll ride with them for a little bit. And so sure enough, as I came around the corner to the first SAG stop, that's the rest stop, right? SAG. So I came around the corner to the SAG stop. I heard Kerry Smith, with this big booming laugh of his. He was like, ha, 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 ha. And I was like, that's Kerry. I know that's Kerry. And I looked, saw him. He had his blue Cats jersey on because he's the group that I ride with is called the Cats I Roll With. And so he's got, cats on his chest. And I'm like, there he is. So I just rode right up to him and said, dude, how you doing? Good to see you. And it turned out that a lot of the people from our group didn't go. So he was riding with one other person. And I said, well, it's okay if I tag along with you too. And then boom, for the next 30 miles, I had people to ride with. And so you lead for a while, you fall back, you lead, you fall back, you ride with, you talk to other groups as they go by or as you go by them. And it's just enjoyable. Had such a good time. At the end of the day, I finished the 50 miles and I, put pictures in the blog post and stuff. But there was an after party. There was a band. There were cheeseburgers with hot links on them. Oh, it was so good. They had some Greek food there. They had seafood there. They had beer, sodas, all this stuff. This after party is there with the band and everything. And everybody hangs out for a little while. And you just get to kind of talk and chat and reconnect with people that you may have met or seen before, and maybe meet a couple of new people. And for me, I'm just going to be transparent. When my back was hurting, it was hard for me to be excited about sitting at the computer for 4 hours working on something, editing a video or making content or something like that. And then I talk about it a lot where I say, sometimes you just got to recenter. Sometimes you just got to get refocused, get back on. That's exactly what this bike ride did for me. I was a new person when I left Oceanside and started driving home on Saturday. I almost couldn't wait for today to jump in and start promoting our Black Friday sales for the Power Sport Academy, our Black Friday sale for Challenge Connection, talk about Vaxpreneur, things like that, and to be at that level where you can recenter and that one day can change the outcome of a following week. That's a really, really huge deal. And so that was what the value added email was about this morning. So I thought that was cool to share. The other thing that I found interesting was, and I want to make sure I phrase this absolutely correctly. I have friends and customers of completely differing opinions than my own. And we know what each other's opinions are. We've had the discussions. So I don't want people to think that, I look down or I look up, or we're all people, right? We're all people in this big circle. And, there are people that don't have the same faith structure as me that I associate with. There are people that don't have the same governmental beliefs that I have. But we still associate, we still get the job done. We still work together. We still have the utmost respect for each other. And that is something that has been really, really fun to explore with over the last year or so. Not in a negative way, in a very, very positive way. For instance, when I came out with the Vaxpreneur project, I have a lot of people in my circles that really believe in the vaccine process, that believe in the vaccine mandates, and it's for the better good and it's for all these things. But they also know me as a person, and they know that when I'm like, hey, I'm really about the choice. I'm really about people should be able to choose. It shouldn't be a mandate. And if you got the vaccine, great. If you didn't get the vaccine, great. It should be to the person to decide. And here's the deal. If someone gets sick that didn't have the vaccine, my heart's going to go out to them. And if someone has an adverse reaction from the vaccine, my heart is going to go out to them. I'm a compassionate person on both sides of that spectrum. And so when the Vaxpreneur project was released, some people were kind of taken back by it. And other people were like, wow, this is really awesome. And so it's been really interesting to see that even though people might not agree with my stance or my take on the subject matter, they still have respect and admiration, might be too much to say, but they still have like respect and a high level of tolerance. That's a good way to say it. A high level of tolerance for the messaging that goes with that project. I've even had some people endorse or share the Vaxpreneur site and its properties, and it's brand new, so there's barely anybody in there yet, right? But I've had people share that website and its properties, even though I know that we're not on the same page, ideologically with that subject. And that to me says a lot. And it's been really fun. It's almost like, think about it. Live events are coming back, just like this bike ride I did on Saturday. I'm starting to get more and more people reaching out and asking about public speaking and what's it like, and what kind of groups do I talk to, and what kind of subject matter. Like last week, we did the men's mental health talk with Andrew S. Oakes and Stress Relief Headquarters. People that know me from a power sports arena might be like, why is he talking about men's mental health, right? But people that heard me on men's mental health last week are probably thinking, why does this guy give seminars on how to sell service work at motorcycle dealerships? And it's so interesting what society will label us as. I'm in my 50s now. I've been around. So, there's a lot of things that I'm qualified to speak on. And so it's been a whole lot of fun seeing that events are coming back. As a speaker, I entertain these conversations and these opportunities to get in front of other audiences and have a really good time. But it's really interesting to find out what people's expectations are, or kind of like if they see you in one area, they don't understand how you can do another. For instance, you guys see me every day with this whiteboard behind me and a bulletin board and tools over here, and generally a t-shirt on most days, because that's how I work day to day here. And I just like to come out to you guys and talk to you guys. But then when they see a picture of me standing on a balcony, at Cannes, France, delivering a multi-million-dollar talk for a manufacturer, they're like, oh, he can do that too. Yeah, he can do that too. Folks, this has been a hoot. It's been fun. As we break into this new week, I think some of the messaging that I really want to get through to some folks is just like I put about the post on Saturday. If mentally something is holding you back and you're procrastinating, you got to find the keyway to it. You got to find something that's going to lock it in position and get you to get some traction, to get out and overcome whatever that mental block is, whatever that procrastination is, and do it. Physically do it. If it's a physical activity that you need to do and there's some reason why you're not doing it, figure it out and go do it. The reward of doing it is going to be amazing for you. So you need to just overcome these obstacles and do it. I always say you got to find the opportunity within the obstacles, right? I say it all the time. And so we got to find the opportunity within the obstacles. The other thing is don't judge a book by its cover, right? If you are watching this, if you're in corporate training, if you are a CEO, if you are over a team of people, one of the interesting things that came up in a conversation I had with a client just this morning was I said, talking to business people in today's marketplace, especially about training, is a bizarre conversation because these companies seem to be making crazy decisions. And she said, what do you mean? Like, give me an example. Like, what's specifically, what do you mean? I said, take this for instance. They'll say, hey, we have this position. Don't worry, it's going to be fully remote. You don't need to be vaccinated. You're going to be a contractor. It's going to be fully remote. And you say, okay, you sign on the dotted line. They go, great. We just have to have you come in for onboarding. That's on site and it lasts 3 days. Well, that doesn't make any sense. If it's a fully remote position, why don't you have any online training done? Why don't you prepare? Why don't you have any policies and processes documented in a way that doesn't require the person to physically attend an office for training? It's kind of a simple deal. More and more companies now are offering remote work, but for some reason, they're not honoring, honoring is the right word. They're not honoring the promise of remote work when the first thing you ask the employee to do is come to the office. So I find all of this amazingly just evidence of not being prepared. And I figure Mañana no Mas is in the business of helping people prepare. And so if you're in these positions and you hear me say these things, try not to get offended, but rather, hit the contact link on mañananomas.com and say, hey, it occurred to me while you were talking, we do A, B, and C. Do you have any advice or recommendations for? If it's something Mañana no Mas can help with, I'll let you know exactly what we can do for you. And if it's something we can't, I'll try and point you in the right direction to get you that help. Well, folks, happy Monday. It's going to be a killer week. Got a lot of things to do, and I'll talk to you guys